This is Don't Panic, episode number 188, recorded January 8th, 2018, headed for a meltdown. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, internet, and you. I'm Sean Jennings, along with my co-hosts, Colby Rabideau, Dan Miller, two guys who are ready for 2018. What's going on, guys? Welcome. We're a little rusty. We haven't done this for 3 weeks. I thought I couldn't think of anything clever to say, so you got what you got, and you'll like it.
I just can't believe it's only been 8 days of 2018. It feels like a month or more. There was a blizzard.
There was. No, Colby. It was a snow volcano.
Bomb cyclone.
Bomb McCain? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the thing. It was quite cold. Did you see the sheets of ice on my window?
No.
Yeah, I put a picture online, but my window was literally frozen.
And not in the fun Disney way, in the icy way.
That happened one time when I was on like a bus trip to Canada, and it was a very cold week. It was like 20 below or something, and the inside of the bus the windows was just like a sheet of ice over the glass. It was crazy.
We took an Amtrak up to upstate New York once, and it took longer than even it usually takes for Amtrak, because they had to, at each stop, they had to unfreeze the doors in between the cars, because the in between the cars on Amtrak, it's not covered. So as we would progress each station, snow would fall into the door on like the, I don't know, in outbound facing side of the car, freeze the door shut, and so they would have to wait, chisel out the door, and then chisel out the little staircase thing that they fold out at every stop. Oh, it was amazing. It took quite a while.
Wow. Yeah, well, Colby knows this because, and maybe we'll get to this, the three of us got a chance to hang out in person over the holiday break.
Oh, yeah.
But I got to drive Colby to the train station, and it was so cold, the specially made to not freeze windshield wiper fluid in my car froze, and we weren't able to clear my windshield.
It plugged the little holes.
Holes. And
oh, my God.
It was kind of scary.
I was like looking.
Yeah.
And Colby was very uncomfortable. Like, I know he wasn't going to admit it, but I was uncomfortable too. We were both like,
no.
This is gross.
I mean, Sean, you were in the driver's seat. Like you were, I may have been feeling uncomfortable, but you were the one who had to actually do something.
Well, I was like, I don't care if I crash the car, but I'm like, Colby's in here, and people really they'll be mad if I kill Colby.
Yeah, but we made it. We made it through that like weird, like dead zone in the Mass Pike between like Worcester and Natick or whatever.
Listen, governor, who's the governor? I don't even know. Who's our governor?
Charlie Baker. Yeah,
Put more rest stops on the Pike.
Yeah.
I'll vote for that.
just the one, like right after Worcester, there needs to be another
big gap.
rest
I'm not
stop.
Going all the way to Natick. That's crazy.
There are two on the other side, before you see another.
Oh my God! There's Blandsford and we got one here in Ludlow. We got them everywhere.
Right.
Come on, get on that. This is a very Massachusetts-centric discussion. Anyway, so we got to hang out over the break, which was fun. We got ramen, and we did an escape room, which was
Sean's first ramen. What'd you think?
It was fine. It was okay. It was food. I really would have liked a fork. A fork would have been good.
You got on just fine without a fork, though. I was impressed.
I did okay. I still think a fork would have been better. No, it was good. It's not the kind of thing I would like get super psyched up about, but I would do it again. I mean, it's
basically the perfect day for it. You had ideal conditions. It was so cold that day.
Actually, you know what? I will say I actually preferred the dumplings and whatever the pork thing was. I like those better than the ramen. Yeah, the appetizers.
Oh, those pork buns were good. Yeah, I like almost any meat in like one of those steam buns. Holy moly! One thing I realized, so the negative of extreme of this phenomenon was the ramen place we went to, and more positive extremes are places I've gone to since then. Like when it's very cold outside, like the temperature of your restaurant is like a big deal. Like that ramen place was cold.
Well, okay, time out. Hang on, because the viewers at home need to know one of us was wearing a T-shirt in the restaurant. To be fair.
You should be able to go into a restaurant from a cold day and take off your jacket.
You should be wearing
I have strong opinions about this. If it's fly... Okay. We must have had this conversation. We must agree on this. Colby, you're so practical. You're such a practical person.
Yeah.
If it's 5 degrees outside, it is immoral for the inside of an enclosure to be T-shirt weather. It's immoral.
I don't think so. I think it should be, you go into a restaurant, you should be fucking cozy when it is like cold outside. You're going to go into a restaurant and spend what, an hour there, an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like it should be warm. Like you should feel warm and cozy for the hour that you spend.
Dan, were you cold?
Objection. Here's if like when it was really cold, this was my palette. This was my clothing scheme. A winter jacket that is warm as all hell, a sweater underneath that, and maybe an undershirt underneath the sweater, because it's like I'm wearing that sweater. I don't want to have to go into a... Here's my rule. You should have to, at most, take off, and no more, no less, take off 1 layer when you enter a building, no matter what time of year it is. No matter what time of year it is. If you have to put on a sweater to be comfortable in the summer because their air conditioning's turned up too high, deal breaker. If you have to take off 2 layers from your like 3-layer winter getup when you go inside because it's 70 degrees in there and it's 5 degrees outside, too hot. That's not comfortable. It's the opposite of comfortable.
I think that's true of places that you spend more than an hour, but like short-term locations, I want to have to like take off everything down to my base layer so I can warm up before I have to go back out in the fucking 5-degree weather again.
I can already tell what Sean stands on this.
It's all about layering. It's all about if you live in New England, it's about layer. You should have.
I will admit I didn't have my overshirt with me, but I prefer a cozy restaurant on a cold day. That feels nice. Well, the other place is fair.
No, and Colby, I'm not going to disagree with you. That restaurant, the way it was set up and the way the heat was set up, every time the door opened, there was no division between the restaurant and the door, so the cold air would just come right in where you're eating. I totally agree with that. But you wore a T-shirt in the restaurant in a snowstorm.
I'm not saying December. I wasn't unprepared in that I had forgotten my long sleeve shirt in my bag. However, I think I still would have not been a comfortable temperature with my long sleeve shirt on.
I was fine with my Tom Cruise sweater, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that was fun. We didn't crash in the snowstorm, and
we escaped the room.
And we escaped the room in a record time.
We did 5th all time for that escape room.
We even had the handicap of other people.
Yes, 10 people, a lot for an escape room.
Slowing us down.
Yeah, I think we worked well as a group.
Well,
okay, Dan disagrees. I could have done it faster without him.
I would have been willing to pay twice as much and take twice as much time in the escape room to really appreciate. It was a cool room, but you had to like rush through everything.
I never paid Matt.
Oh yeah, neither did I.
He doesn't have Venmo. Can we get him on Seriously, he doesn't have Venmo.
What am I supposed to do? Mail him cash?
Or write him a personal check?
Can instead of paying him any money, can we all go in on a gift? Like a big group gift?
Okay. What would we've got a couple live viewers on Twitch right now. And we can what should we get Matt as a gift?
Well, what's the budget?
Well,
how much do we owe him?
We owe him, it was like $30 a person.
Okay, that's not that. Well, $90. You can get a good gag gift with $90.
Could we get him a new like Wi-Fi extender or something?
No, honestly, no. It's
Faraday cage.
It's not his Wi-Fi. It's not, because he does fine when he uses Skype on his on Katie's computer. It's his 1,000-year-old MacBook. That's the problem.
Maybe we could get him like a used like 800-year-old MacBook.
There you
instead.
Go. Yeah, that is an upgrade.
How about a like shipping pallet filled with whoopee cushions? just a shipping pallet of whoopee cushions. You think you can get that for $90?
Oh, totally. No, I bet you can, like an industrial amount of whoopee cushions.
Like what they ship to, a party store.
Yeah. No, that's a really good idea. I was thinking we could get him like a drum, like an industrial drum full of stuffed olives. Because I know that's his big thing right now, and then that way he'll never have.
Do those come in drums, or are they like barrel stand? Like, is there a standard unit for olives, like a cask,
like a pallet of a cask of olives? I don't know. That's a really good question.
Cask.
Yeah, that sounds legit. Anyway, I think this conversation is fun for the four of us, but is there anything else that's been, we've been off for 3 weeks? Anything else exciting going on with you guys, tech or not? Otherwise,
no, I've been sick for like the last 3 weeks.
So have I. I've been sick since, I don't know, I was probably sick on the podcast at some point in December, and I've been at least sick to residually sick since then.
Yeah.
I think you two got me sick.
Maybe.
It's
someday
possible.
I might not have a runny nose anymore.
Dream big.
That day today. I've been hoping that it's just the extreme cold and that like it's
not your body failing you or anything.
Right. I'm not dying.
Well,
succumbing to old age.
I mean,
is this what it's like?
I'm not.
Everything just stops working, I'm told.
No, well, I'm not a doctor, but I think wearing your T-shirt everywhere probably doesn't help. I mean, again, I think that might be part of your problem.
Well, did any tech news happen while we were gone?
Oh, gee whiz, Dan, I thought you'd never ask. Strong pivot over to the part of the show where we talk about tech news. Maybe people are joining us for the first time because we haven't done this in a while. We banter for a while, which we did. Check that off the list. Now we talk about tech news. And we've got it's sort of a 50-50 split on the show this week because we've got highlights from the Consumer Electronics Show, which kicked off, I think, officially yesterday. Most of the big announcements were today, and they'll continue into tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff tomorrow as well, so we'll have the back end of that next week. But we also have some news not related to CES, guys. We've got Google Pay, the Meltdown. We've got the bad YouTubers.
I have a proposal.
Okay.
Let's lightning round all the CES stuff, and let's talk about Meltdown and the stupid iPhone thing.
Okay. Good deal.
iPhone thing.
Sounds good.
So I sort of put in the rundown here just some like general categories of stuff that has come out on like the themes of CES so far.
Look at you categoring things, doing all this work before the show.
There's a lot. Yeah, well, some of us are committed to the program, Dan. Anyway, starting with big expensive TVs, that's not new. We saw today LG come out with a new 4K OLED and Super UHD TVs. Not a lot from LG in terms of new technology. They're just sort of improving on what they did last year. Their big things, new processors and AI. What that essentially means is they are smashing into this TV 3 smart assistants.
Three.
Starting with LG's Think AI platform, plus Amazon Alexa, plus Google Assistant. All in the same TV. And now you're thinking to yourself, Sean, how does that work? And that's a fair point. They didn't really say. They didn't really say.
Can you use both at the same time?
Well, I don't know if it's like you say a command and like the TV figure out which service to send it to, or if you just say, "Hey Google" or whatever, and then that's.
I'm surprised that they'll even license it if both things are being used.
I agree. I think it's super bizarre. I don't know why you would not just pick one.
I mean, it's good for consumers, but I don't know why the company would allow it.
Now,
but I guess it's good.
The other thing is that there are no always listening mics on these TVs. You have to use the microphone button on your remote. And it says many of the most common asks, like checking the weather, sports scores, and so on, will bring up results from Google Assistant first.
Oh.
But if you say something like play videos on YouTube, it'll use LG's software to do it.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
I know.
Okay.
So you can look forward to those very expensive TVs coming later this year.
And we should also give all of these a cited meh or I don't know, loser rating.
Is that our scale? Excited meh loser.
I don't know.
I like that.
I don't feel super strongly about the last one.
I like the idea of the 146-inch TV.
Oh yeah, we
but
hadn't even talked about 146 inches. You do like that idea? How many Ks
but
is it?
only if it were curved. If it were curved, it would fit perfectly in the walls of my apartment.
That's right. You live in a circle.
But it's flat, so I can't. It's not for me because I can't. I would lose so much space, like 146 inches.
At 186 inches. How many was it? 186?
46.
Yeah,
146? Could you wedge it between your two sets of windows?
Maybe.
Well, the good news is...
Who needs sunlight anyways? You can display sunlight on your 146 inch
right.
TV.
You can just have artificial sunlight. I like that.
Well, the good news is, Colby, this 146-inch TV, nicknamed The Wall, which is awesome, is actually a modular television. You can take it apart and put it back together.
Can you split it into two 73-inch TVs?
Theoretically, yes. So the way it works is it is a new technology called micro LED. And what it is it's kind of like, like the big electronic billboards that use lots of little lights to make a picture? It's like that, except super small. And what it allows it to do is, like, when they take like a bunch of TVs and put them together to make one big TV? It's essentially that technology. So it's a bunch of separate panels, but because the LEDs are so small, you can't delineate the lines between them. But theoretically, you would be able to separate those panels or activate and deactivate certain ones.
That's cool. That makes me want one even more. I could put panels all over my room. I mean, my apartment.
Well, and now they're being very clear in saying that they're not revealing the specifics on how that would work. Or that you would be able to just like break your TV in half one day because you wanted two separate TVs. Like it's really more of like
probably won't do that.
No, it's just to buy it in different sizes. Like if you need like a weird size TV for like a specific room or something, it's more like that.
Gotcha.
So,
alas,
that's cool. It's cool. It's big. Pretty big. The wall. Yeah,
cool.
That's a lot of it for TVs. I'll just quickly mention off the top of my head. I think Hisense announced that they're putting one of the smart assistants into their TVs. Hisense, yeah, they're a lower cost Asian brand. And TCL announced some new Roku TVs. They've been doing Roku TVs for a while. They're also doing a Roku soundbar as well to go with that. That'll be coming out later this year with Roku's new smart assistant that they're building.
Oh my. Everybody's got a smart assistant.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, that's the second theme. Alexa and Google, I gotta stop saying that. Echo, I will say Echo so it stops activating my thing. And Google Assistant are in everything this year. So we mentioned the TVs. It's also going to be in cars. Kia announced they're adding Google Assistant to their infotainment system for select 2018 models. So you'll be able to talk about them. Panasonic will also be adding Google Assistant into their infotainment system for their automotive partners. We've also seen BMW, Ford, and Nissan all announce last year that they're adding Alexa to their models. Hyundai announced last year it would add Google Assistant to their vehicles.
Sweet. Are there any like specific integrations, or is it just you're gonna ask like what's the weather and what's on my email on all these?
Yeah, so it's all of those things, but it'll also be integrated with the car itself. So you'll be able to remotely start and stop the ignition, lock and unlock the car, remotely activate the horns and light through the assistant or the app. So it really will power the whole system top to bottom.
What if you leave your window open? You just go up to people's car and like yell really loudly, like,
"Unlock the car!" Oh my god, that would be really funny. I hope that's not the case, but I didn't think about that.
I actually thought about. I got my parents an Echo Dot for Christmas, and that's what we were talking about. We were talking about like the smart locks on the doors, because my dad had locked himself out at one point while I was home for Christmas, and it was like, oh, you could just yell through the window like, Alexa, unlock the door, and then we were like, oh wait. You could just yell through the window and unlock the door. That was a weird thing to think about. That's
funny.
interesting. I'm not sure about locking, unlocking, turning on and off the car. That seems like
Now hang on. Why would you
hacked vehicle just waiting to happen?
Does like Google Assistant inherit all of the voice commands on your or sorry, does like the Google Home inherit all of your Google Assistant voice commands? Because I'm wondering, why would you have it set up? I guess you could go in the house, close the door, and then tell it to lock the door. Yeah. But under what circumstance would you want to tell your phone to unlock or tell your Google Home to unlock the door? I guess there could be someone at the door. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I agree. I'm sure that I would think like starting the car would probably be a more useful feature than unlocking it. It's a fair point. We also saw a lot of third-party accessories as well for cars that brought Alexa into the vehicle from companies like Garmin and Anker, both coming later this year. The last sort of smart assistant thing, Google announced a new smart display platform designed for partners like Lenovo to create their own Echo Show-like devices. So we talked about on the show before the Echo Show, which is just a version of the Echo with a screen and a more visual experience. Google will now have that with their Google Assistant, creating these little screens. Lenovo, JBL, LG, and Sony are producing devices. Google is not making them like it does with Home or Mini. It'll only be third parties. The first one announced was Lenovo's two Google Smart displays, an 8-inch and a 10-inch versions. You say the Hey Google thing, and it does all the assistant stuff. It's got Maps, YouTube, Google Photos, etc., etc. The Lenovo one specifically will be priced at $199 and $249 when it comes out later this summer. But you can expect more from other companies. I'll put up on the screen here for the folks watching the video.
Is the software that determines what you're displaying written by Google? How does this work?
So you'll connect it to your Google accounts, obviously, and it has a standard screensaver that when you activate it will pull from your Google account. So if you have appointments, it'll put it on there, and if you've got a timer, it'll show it on there. And then you can ask it questions like, "Hey, where's my appointment?" And then it will pull up Google Maps and show you the directions to your appointment. And it's again similar to what the show does with your Amazon integration.
Right. I'm just wondering, this isn't like part of some Google product, like Android.
So it is. It's powered by Android's. Shoot, I forgot the name of it. Android has a split version of Android that is used for Internet of Things devices. I think it's Android IoT or something like that's what's called. That's what's actually powering it.
Oh, okay.
It's a fork of Android.
I got it. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
It's certainly less ugly than
I like it. I think it looks really nice. I don't like how the show looks. I got to be honest. I'm not a fan.
No, it looks pretty ugly.
This looks cool.
I like the back of it. I particularly like the wood paneled version of the back. I'm sure it's not actually wood panel, but
I also like just the sort of like
I don't know, for $199.
It's a good price. I just like the stark kind of white look of the interface a little. Like I like the Google Cards interface a little bit more visually. I think that's something I would want to have on screen more so than Amazon stuff. I think visually they can deliver a better experience than Amazon because they have YouTube and Google Image Search and all those sorts of integrations.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Do either of you use a Chromecast at all?
Very rarely. My TV has it built in, so
I just like the screensaver pictures the Chromecast puts up.
They put up nice ones. Although I will give a shout out, my 4K Roku puts up 4K images. Very sharp.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they look really nice. And I like the Apple TV ones, by the way. The motion screensavers.
I do too.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Those are really nice.
I've been meaning to set those up on my work computer because you can download them.
Do you have to do stuff, or is it just a setting?
It's like there's a GitHub, but I think you just download the thing. But it doesn't come with macOS.
I see. Cool.
So on top of that, of course, another big theme always at CES is appliances. We saw smart robots and smart washing machines and all sorts of things. I picked two out of those that I thought was interesting. Whirlpool announced a new smart oven that integrates with the app Yummly, which I frankly have never heard of, and Amazon Smart Assistants to help you cook. So the way it will work is you use the Yummly app to pick a recipe, and then the oven will automatically time itself along with you cooking in the app. It'll send preheating and cooking instructions like bake or broil to the oven or microwave. There's also an option to automatically turn the oven down to a warming temperature when the cooking's done in case you don't plan to eat right away. And it will also obviously have Alexa built in, so it will be able to, be spoken to and be told to do things.
That's kind of interesting. I feel like it's a recipe for a disaster. I'm not sure about that. Like, I'm not sure if I want my oven to change from like bake to broil and it's on its own. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say this is better than the dryer. Is the dryer back at CES this year?
Oh, the Samsung washer and dryers have their Bixby personal assistant built in. I don't know why. I don't know what it does, but it exists. I'm gonna look.
Anyways,
I'm gonna look that up while you're talking.
This is more useful than the dryer because unlike the dryer, there are actions that you'd want to take unadvisedly but remotely. If you're cooking a turkey and you have to go run out to the store, you could set it to warm when it's done, like you said. Or if you forgot to turn the oven off, you could turn it off when you leave. That's a great safety feature. But I think the auto cooking thing is pretty pointless. But this gets a better than the smart dryer rating from me.
Fair enough. Low bar.
Yeah, because the smart dryer, what are you going to do? You have to take the clothes out of it. You can already be notified when the clothes need to be taken out. You have to go down and put clothes in to turn it on.
No, or you can, like I said, you can leave the clothes in there when you go to work, and then an hour before you get home, it turns on, so the laundry's done when you get home.
Or you could just turn it on.
I'm a busy man, Dan. I don't have time for this. I gotta sit here and talk with you clowns. I haven't got time to do laundry.
Half a second it takes you to reach up and press the start button.
I don't. No, I like this idea of the smart oven integration. I need it to be like 30% smarter. Because
what kind of smartness do you need?
I have never cooked a recipe in the time they told me it was going to take me. And I just think it's because I'm slow. But, like, I'm going to be, like, halfway through prep, and all of a sudden my oven's going to be like, meal's done. And I'm going to be like, no, it's not. I haven't even started. So I need it to know what I'm doing in the cooking process. And whether, like, the voice commands would be great for this, because it's like, all right, hey, let me know when you're done chopping the vegetables, and we'll move on to the next step. And, like, time it with me. Like, that would be great. It just, like, waiting 30 minutes to turn on the oven because it said the recipe took 30 minutes to prep, to me is not useful. But if they could really get it, like, much smarter, then I'm like, yeah, no, totally, that's cool. Not necessary, but cool.
I agree. That would be cool.
So that's my rating. Not necessary, but cool. Also in the appliance, I just pulled one more out here because I thought this one actually may skew into cool territory, which is GE announced what's the name of it? The Family Hub. Who comes up with this crap? It is a 27-inch touchscreen tablet that sits right above your stove in place of your vent. So, of course, as everyone knows, above your stove, you're supposed to have a vent that vents out fumes. This vent would be a giant 27-inch touchscreen tablet. It'll have...
Would it still vent?
Yes, it does still vent. It's not just like a TV they smashed up. No,
it can vent, but not both at the same time. You can either vent or use the tablet.
That would be great.
This vent is just like Colby's windows. Not very good at what they're supposed to be doing, but excellent display devices.
Yes. It's a good one. The display will have control options for other smart appliances and smart home gadgets, as well as video feeds from any internet-connected cameras you've hooked up. You'll also be able to look up recipes, make video calls, and do other things. Actually, interestingly enough, the hub has two cameras, one facing forward for video chatting, and another one that looks down on your stovetop. Don't know why you need that, but it has it. And it does double as an exhaust hood.
Well, you can live stream your cooking adventures on Twitch.
Yeah, we need more Sean and the Sean Kitchen Adventures.
That's kind of great. I would totally do that. all the time. Like, no joke.
I would watch that sometimes when
Thanks.
When Colby. It was like always when nice it made sense. I was like, I would watch it if you were cooking at times that I was just sitting around. But I feel like you're probably.
Well, Colby's saying he's not going to go out of his way to watch it, but.
No, what I'm saying is Sean is probably cooking at the same time that I'm cooking. I guess I could put that. Yeah.
Let's cook.
People do that. That's a big thing on Twitch, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but now they can make it that much easier.
Next expansion.
Yeah. So no idea on price or availability. Second half of this year. Coming soon to a kitchen near you. I actually think it's kind of like of all the the screen in the fridge to me isn't practical because I don't stand and look at my fridge. I do stand in front of my stove. Like that's not an uncommon place to be. So to me, that actually kind of makes sense. And it's at eye level. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you're going to put a big touchscreen device in your kitchen, like this place makes the most sense for me.
Yeah. I do. Yeah, I like the idea. It could be cool for like recipes and things. I feel like that's a thing I constantly struggle with is where to put like the recipe that I'm doing. I usually end up taping it to the cabinet in front of me. But that's like the same thing, right? It's like right in front of my face there.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on. What?
Scrolling down this article. They don't have any pictures of this?
It's right there.
Of what?
Oh, wait. Did I click on the wrong one? Oh, I did click on the wrong one.
Yeah, it's the first one.
GE's latest.
In the next article, or I guess you talked about this, the oven that knows how to cook prepackaged foods.
Yeah.
The woman is scanning the DiGiorno's pizza box with her phone.
Yep.
The guy, what is he cutting up? Tomatoes?
Yeah, to put on top of your frozen pizza. Why is that weird? I don't understand what's unusual. No, because there's a little salad next to him, Dan. They're having a fresh salad with their frozen pizza.
Right. Okay, makes sense. Sorry.
By the way, in the Twitch chat, we've got a couple live viewers on Twitch. Thanks for joining us as always at twitch.tv/don'tpanicshow. Need a washer dryer setup that you could just bulk load with multiple loads, and it will just run through all of them without me having to do it. Can even just dump the dry clothes out on the side. And we also saw at CES this year a clothes folding machine.
Okay, these are all good ideas. Something that can take more laundry than will fit in one load and do it all without you having to go down, that's automation that makes your life easier.
Yeah, but it would also be the size of a bus.
Well, that's why you just need a freaking robot.
No, you need a dry cleaner.
No.
You need a dry cleaner who picks up and delivers.
Okay, that's easy
a thing. It exists.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's harder other places, but you could get... see, this is where I feel like we're missing the boat. With all this like AI and vision, like machine learning, someone hasn't made a robot that can pick clothes up off of the floor and put them inside of something else. Come on.
So
here's what it could be, Sean. Like you know the cars, I don't know, trucks that pick up trash.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like one of those. It has these two little hooks. It presses into the washer, takes out the entire bucket, whoop, dumps it in to the dryer, puts it back, starts the dryer, and then loads up the next thing. But I don't think it would be that complicated.
But it just sounds way more complicated than me just doing it. And I know, but that's...
Yes, but it's more convenient. You know what else is more complicated? Sending a signal from your phone to a cell phone tower to a satellite in the sky.
I don't do that part. Other people do that part. I pay for the privilege of doing that part.
Exactly.
You wouldn't be designing and programming this robot.
But what I'm saying is that I don't need to like never do. I don't have a problem doing some. I just need it to be like 20% more convenient. Like that's all I just want it to be slightly better. I don't need to like never do it. I like doing well. Honestly, I don't mind. But it's like I can't hear. My washer isn't loud enough. I can't hear when it's done. I would like a text message when it's done. Like that's not crazy. That's way easier than building a robot to do it.
I know. Okay, sorry, Mr. Person with a 3-story house. You have this problem where you can't hear your dryer go off.
And it's actually very loud. I should hear it, but
Oh man, that would be so cool. Imagine if in your apartment, instead of a laundry room, there was just a thing that you brought your laundry down, put it in, and like you come back in an hour and a half, and you just pick up.
You know what's really good at remembering which sock is yours? A computer.
Boom. Yeah, I like it. We should do this.
Okay.
I feel quality.
Now, what do you think would be easier, this or the Snoomba?
Snoomba. Snoomba for sure.
You're right.
Snoomba's definitely easier.
You're gonna shred a lot of
machine
clothes.
learning involved in the Snoomba. You just have a driveway and it goes.
Yeah. There you go. You strap a computer to a snowblower and you've done it. Congrats. Good job. Could you imagine Dan just like straps a laptop to a snowblower? What the hell are you two doing? Run for your lives. Too good. Yeah, there's a few other CES things, some silly stuff for your pets. The one other Alexa story is it is coming to Windows 10, which is quite interesting because Cortana really is not caught on, so this could be interesting. It will actually come pre-installed and integrated in HP, Lenovo, Asus, and Acer laptops later this year. A lot of those laptops are now being built with far-field microphones in them, so you will be able to, like the Echo speaker, activate it remotely. And it'll have a nice little integration there.
So it can listen everywhere you go.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do they know which one you're talking to?
Yeah. I don't know.
It seems like it'll be a problem.
It's not a problem until it becomes a problem, Sean.
Well, maybe...
It doesn't matter if you could see the problem coming.
Well, I just think that, like, what does it say about you? Like, I have so many Alexa devices. Oh, my life. What is happening? Like, maybe that says more about you than it does about Amazon.
Yeah, maybe.
You gotta stop buying smart stuff. All right, that's about it for CES. We can wrap up CES there, so we have time to talk about other stuff. What other stuff would you guys like to talk about?
Let's do Meltdown.
I was really.
Oh, Sean is like. Oh.
I gotta try. Are you gonna make me try to explain this?
No. Do you not understand it?
I think I do, but
all right.
I feel very unqualified to.
I want to hear your explanation.
Damn it. Okay. So, it came out this past week that a flaw was discovered in how computers work. Is the vaguest I can make it. Oh God, I'm gonna really screw this up so bad. You made me nervous now. So, computers, right? It's like magic. How do they work? So they process stuff, right? And it goes back and
they have like a central processing unit.
Yes,
I think.
They call it a CUPU.
Processing. Yeah.
And to make things go faster. Right, they do a lot of computations and such, right? And sometimes to make it go faster, actually all the time to make it go faster, they guess on things.
Yeah.
And they don't care if they get it wrong. They just get rid of the stuff that's wrong and just give you the stuff. It's faster apparently to do that than to not do that. And so they pitch out a bunch of options and they take the right one and they discard the wrong ones. And this is for all the stuff you do on all the different parts of your computer talk to each other in this, and it's like everything. This is like the real deal core of everything, okay? Very protected, normally. Apparently, they discovered a vulnerability that I don't quite completely understand how it works, but people can now see the wrong guesses. Am I getting closer?
I don't... They can't just see the wrong guesses. Well, here's the thing. They can detect when a wrong guess happened. Is part of it. Which is important because it allows you to manipulate so what what like an if statement is in like in a programming language, Sean. It's like if true, then do this. If false, then do this other thing.
Yes.
And you could have many of these. If true, otherwise, if 1 + 1 = 3, otherwise, if this. And that's where that prediction is happening, is it's saying, okay, maybe I don't know all of the data, or maybe I've run this code like a billion times and it's almost always this thing. So I'm going to start executing as if we're going down this path. And if I'm wrong, I'm probably only going to be wrong some percentage of the time, less than 50. And as long as the speed up makes up for that fact, then we come out ahead. So if you can run the program 1,000 times, and always have it go down one path, and then change it so it goes down the other, and you can know that it predicted incorrectly, they can use how slowly it then runs to sort of feel around in the dark at the other parts of memory in the computer and figure out what those things are very slowly. Because it takes a long time to trick the CPU into thinking that it's guessing correctly before you like pull the rug out from under it. This is my understanding. This is a sort of a way more complicated version of a very old type of security problem. If you could imagine you have a website and you have like a sign-in form, what is the sign-in form going to look like? You're going to like get a username and password, right? What do you do with that, Sean?
What do you mean?
So you're signing into Facebook.
I put
they get a username and password. What do you imagine the code looks like once they have your username and password?
Well, they don't actually see my username and password, right?
Yeah, they do.
Well, my password is. Don't they? I don't know where you're going with this. You got to handhold me a little more.
All right, so they have your password stored somehow, right? So they have to get that to check to see if your password was correct.
Yes.
What happens if it is correct? After you click login.
Then I log in.
And what do you see?
I see Facebook.
Yeah. What happens if you get it incorrect?
They say incorrect. Try again.
Yeah. How much more complicated do you think the success case is there than the failure one?
The failure one.
Like, okay, so all right. The way this used to work, and there are all sorts of protections for this now, is if you were trying to guess someone's password online, you would just sign in and measure how long it took it to tell you that you were wrong, that the password was wrong. And the longer it took, the more correct your password was, because it was checking like one byte further into the string. Like, oh, you got the first character right, so like tick, now let's check the second one. This works much more easily when you're like sitting at a computer than it does over the internet, but it can still work over the internet because like the latencies are much smaller. So that like 90s era website problem transplanted into the modern day. But the crazy part about this is you can do it from a browser. So if you visited a website that had a sleazy ad on it, and that sleazy ad had some JavaScript, that sleazy JavaScript could perform this attack on your computer without you installing or being aware that it's even happening. If you were an eagle-eyed computer user, you'd probably notice that like this web page is eating all of your CPU as it tries to trick the computer as fast as it can. But yeah, does that make sense?
No, but no. That's not your fault. You did a marvelous job. You
did a good job too.
I will know because for the folks out there who are as confused as I am, so there was a good analogy in this article that I thought was helpful in me understanding it for the dummies who don't know how computers work. And I will steal it from this article and I will read it because I think it's helpful. You want to rob a bank, okay? Inside the bank vault is a piece of paper with a sensitive piece of information on it, okay? And in that vault, there's a security guard with a gun who will shoot anyone who looks at that piece of paper. Unless it's the owner of the piece of paper, who we'll say is Colby. Okay? Colby's the only one who gets to look at the paper.
Okay.
Now, Dan walks up to the door, but doesn't go in the bank. Then there's a parallel reality where Dan actually does go into the bank. He goes into the vault, and he gets shot because he's not Colby. In one reality, where he doesn't go into the bank, nothing happens. In the other one, he gets shot. You with me so far? Okay.
Uh-huh.
In the parallel reality where you do go into the bank, You enter the vault and you look at the piece of paper. That's the point where you get shot. But before you get shot, you whisper quietly the name of the password. Okay? In your side of the reality.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Can I translate this real quick to what is actually happening?
Yes.
Because you've tricked the computer into thinking that you're going to go somewhere along this branch. So remember your Facebook implementation? You like, if password is correct, do this thing. Else error page. If you somehow manage to trick the thing that predicts which branch into going down the success path, then now somewhere in memory is the results of running the success path, even though you didn't supply the right password.
Yes. And now, part of the issue is, in the other reality where you don't go into the bank, which is what you're talking about, you can hear that whisper of the written secret in the other reality, which you're not supposed to be able to hear. And you get the information. That's the end of the analogy. Now, what does this actually mean for practical regular Joes? Because I'm sure on the sort of enterprise tech side, it's a massive disaster. But for regular folks, simply put, Intel came out to actually today and said they expect 90% of affected devices to be patched within a week. Windows has already rolled out updates. Mac is rolling out updates.
That is bullshit.
You got to talk to the Intel dudes.
Oh my god, 90%. How many Windows 95 computers are there out there? How many Windows XP computers? How many Windows 7 computers? None of those computers are getting it.
5%.
How many Solaris web servers have been running since 1999? None of them are getting it.
I can only tell you what he said. I don't know. And they say the remaining by the end.
It's our responsibility, Sean, to call BS on the news and the companies when we see it.
I trust our corporate overlords. Apple has already released mitigations in iOS, macOS, and tvOS. Windows has already published updates for their operating systems. Their BIOS updates going out for Intel, AMD, ARM. They're being pushed as much. Browsers have already been patched. I've gotten my Windows update. So a good pro tip for everyone out there, whatever operating system you're using, make sure you're using the latest version. Go to your update application and make sure you're updated there, as well as for whatever browser you're using. Make sure you're running the latest versions of those as well. I mean, this isn't really one of those things that will likely affect us.
Yeah.
Like, if I had a big corporate data center, I'd probably be pretty concerned.
Well, here's where so you can't. There isn't a patch to fix the actual problem, right? So the reason why you didn't really mention this, but some people were freaking out last week because it was going to make computers slower.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is because they're sort of working around this problem in the operating system by adding protections to prevent that whisper from happening,
mm-hmm.
which slows down the computer because you're doing extra work in this branch prediction business, to not even in the branch prediction, but to sort of work around to prevent tricks from the branch to the branch predictor from happening. So the effect of this fix is there are little bits of code on your computer that are owned by the operating system, and these are responsible for whenever you talk to hardware. So whenever you open a file, write to a file, talk over the network, a lot of things like that, though all of that code just got slower no matter what you're doing. Mm-hmm. The good news is most of the time we're not doing that much of it. Your browser isn't like opening, closing, reading, and writing tens of hundreds of thousands of files a second.
Gotcha.
A database is. So that's why it's not a problem for consumers. Not because your computer isn't being affected, but because you're probably not running a program that it matters so much.
So Dan, as our resident expert on complicated things, how would you rate this on a scale of panic to don't panic?
I don't know. If those are my only two options, this is definitely a panic.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's bad. Here's where it's really scary. A lot of websites, like you're probably not going to leave CNN.com open long enough for this to take effect. But what about Twitch? What about some crazy cryptocurrency thing? What about your Bitcoin index tracker nonsense? And people are really used to Chrome eating up 400% of their CPU. That's sort of the new normal. So that's where this really scares me. Is you would really just need one high-profile website that you can install this, that you could run this attack on, and you could steal lots of people's personal data. It would be hard, but the like risk reward trade-off is super low. There's not that much risk, and the reward is really high. It would be a lot of effort, but it's not like you're getting a couple passwords. You'd be getting everything. Did you type your credit card in? Well, guess what? Maybe they have that now. Did you open up your 1Password vault? They have that. Guess what? When you're reading those passwords to copy them in, that stored in memory somewhere. If it's on your clipboard, stored in memory somewhere. So it's pretty panicky. Update your stuff.
So if I'm understanding,
don't go to weird websites. Turn JavaScript off if you're doing something sensitive.
Just don't use computers. that's really the safest way.
No. We have to go back to the early 90s before processors had branch prediction.
Yes, go pull your old Pentium 3 out of the closet, blow the dust off.
That is completely protected, I believe.
Very exciting.
Very good. All right.
I do have a Raspberry Pi somewhere.
Do all your banking on that.
I like it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little confused about all that, but I understand more than I did before.
Did you take computer architecture, Colby, or did you
I don't think
weasel your way out of that one?
Yeah, I definitely.
Anyways, we talked all about branch prediction in that class, so it came in handy.
I see. See, I missed out. Got to go back to school. My degree is worthless.
Hey, I took broadcast commercial. I learned how to make commercials. That's really serving me well.
How many commercials have you made?
Not enough. I did make some. Actually, it was great because because I actually don't use my degree that much. I mean, I like what I do, don't get me wrong, but I just like the stuff. But today I was actually doing like wireframing at my job, and my boss came up. He's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm actually doing what I studied to do."
Like an app wireframing?
Yeah, we're doing a new website for the company.
Oh
my God, it's gonna be cutting edge.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be. You're gonna be able to look at our products.
It's gonna be. Yeah, is it gonna be Web 4.0?
Oh, it's gonna be web like
social
12.5.
web VR experience.
Oh my God, we're gonna integrate the multi-dimension user interface design style.
Oh yeah.
Process.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm pretty jazzed.
VR first.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna be in the 8th dimension. It's gonna be pretty sweet. It's commercial roofing like you've never seen it before.
Now that's a good April Fool's.
I know I want to do like an overproduced
VR.
I want to do like a movie trailer when we release this thing. And
for your Oculus Rift.
Live commercial roofing. It's like it's right in front of me. Okay. Anyway, being a little zany.
I'm excited.
We can move on to picks, or we can do one more story and go long. It's up to you guys.
Let's do picks.
Okay, good call, Dan. We're going to move on to picks, the part of the show where we each bring something to the table we want to share with the world that we're really excited about. Sometimes it's tech-related. Many times it's not. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. I'll go first because I'm first here on the list. I talked previously on the show about my purchase of a Nest thermostat, but I hadn't actually picked it. And now that it's been really cold, if you haven't noticed, thanks, Polar Bomb, it turns out having a smart thermostat really comes in handy. I've actually really enjoyed it. I purchased the Thermostat E, which is the cheaper one. Really, the only difference is it obviously looks different. It's white, and it's kind of got that frosted display. It is slightly less compatible with homes, but still like 85, 90% of homes it works with. And what's the other? It's missing that thing where you can like look at it from across the room and it tells you the weather, which I don't really care about. Otherwise, it's the same. Go get the cheaper one, honestly, unless you're really into the design. It's been really great, honestly. Having a smart thermostat, I know having a programmable one in general is good, but I really like it using the GPS to know when I'm home and I'm away from home, which is really great. I think I've saved a lot on energy with that. And being able to, like, if I'm away from home, and I can change it on the fly and heat up the house before I get home, or I can adjust it from anywhere in the house. It just works super well. It's very convenient. It integrates with, I can shout at the Alexa to do whatever, turn it up, turn it down.
Hey, Alexa!
Which, when I'm in my multi-story palatial condo,
Right.
and I'm all the way upstairs, why would I walk
Chateau
all the way
Jennings.
downstairs to change the thermostat? No, I just talked to the smart lady. And
No,
she does it for
sir.
me. No, like a chump. But it's really neat, and it looks really pretty on the wall. And the best part is many states, another Massachusetts pro tip, will give you money back for purchasing a Wi-Fi thermostat. Massachusetts will give you $50 back on your purchase.
Damn.
If you purchase a Nest. And they give you more if you purchase some other brands. I wanted the Nest, but like the Echo Bee, which I know is a really popular one, they'll give you $100 back. So it's more expensive, so you end up paying about the same. But I recommend checking out your local state because it may end up being really worth it. Once you factor in the $50, it's actually a pretty good deal. And it's super easy to install. I'm not very handy, but it really took 2 seconds. So anyway, if you want to stay warm and save some money and be high-tech about your house, the Thermostat E, I think, is a really great pick. I don't think you need the fancier one. It's $170, but see in your local state, you may get some money back. It's available now.
What's the difference between the E and the fancy one?
So as far as I understand it, it's the design. It is that it's slightly less compatible. So it's like the fancy one's like 95% of homes, and this one's like 90%. So it'll probably be fine in your place. And then it's got what they call it Farsight, which I guess is if you're like sitting within range and you look at it, it knows you looked at it, and it'll like pop up with the weather. Like it's not anything necessary. I don't think you'll see a big difference. And the other tip, if you buy it from Google, directly from Google, a lot of times they'll do a deal where they're like throwing a Google Home for free. So also check out and see if they'll do that for you as well. So there's my pick. Please stay warm. Don't freeze to death. Dan, what do you got here for us?
Yeah, so every winter break, I download some stupid game that I use to keep myself occupied. I don't really know why this happened, but it definitely started last year with Stardew Valley. So my new entry in that grand tradition is a game that is a little less complicated. It's a game for PC and Mac and possibly Linux called Kingdoms and Castles. And it's like Minecraft crossed with SimCity. So you get to build... So here's the cool part about SimCity, right? You get to build this beautiful city and you built it. To me, that's the cool part. I don't care about managing my economy and if my citizens are happy. That's the cool part. Add in a little bit of that not stressful but sort of present danger from Minecraft to sort of motivate you to do things. So there's little Viking raids and the dragon will fly by, and you end up with this game that lets you build these really cool looking, very interesting, I don't quite know how to describe the visual style, very interesting medieval towns and castles with walls and roads and farms, and it's very relaxing. So if you like those sorts of games, check out Kingdoms and Castles. What is it, $10?
$10, that's it.
$10, yeah. Yeah,
Check it
that's a
out,
steal.
No, they're giving it away on Steam now. Very cool. All right, I gotta play more games. Colby, what is this like a? I see here, and I don't want to give it away. I see here in the sheet it just says scars. Now I'm assuming this is like a wireless Alexa enabled wireless charging smart scarf.
Just regular scarves. I don't know when the last time I wore a scarf was. I think I was probably a child, and since then I've like scoffed at them like I don't need a scarf. But I got a scarf this year because it was cold, and it turns out like with a scarf and gloves and like a hat and stuff, like you can upgrade like your jacket 1 to 2 coldness levels. Like you could take like a mild fall jacket and turn it into like a mild winter jacket for a reasonable amount of time. But like between like in your transit travels and things, because it like plugs the holes. That's the problem with mini jackets, is that like they got holes and your heat's leaving. So if you find yourself cold sometimes, get a scarf and your life will be better.
I'm very concerned about you, Colby.
Why?
I think we've learned throughout the show that you're very inconsistent in how you dress yourself, because it's like you're wearing a t-shirt, but then in like winter you're wearing like a light fall jacket, but because you have a scarf, it's okay. Like we really need to teach you how to properly dress for the weather. You go to California for 1 year and all of a sudden you're a mess.
I've recovered from that. I'm well past the California.
Uh-huh.
I fell off that bus and it jarred me back into reality.
Oh boy. Well, it's a good pick. That's probably my second favorite pick of yours after the one time you picked the weather. Which I still think may be my favorite all-time pick we've ever done on this show.
Indeed.
And actually, I think it was an anti-pick because you didn't like the weather.
I was going to say, what season was it?
Yeah, I think it was like, I don't know if it was raining or snowing or something, but you're like, this week I'm unpicking the weather. I'm like, yes, that's great. The scarf is pretty good too. All right. The good news is you can have link, if you want to click through to learn more about scarves, you can go to our website, don'tpanic.io. We'll have a link to that and all the picks as well as this show and all the shows. It's a great website. You should check it out. We'll have this episode, all the past episodes, and links to where you can subscribe. We're on all the major platforms, so it's very easy to find us. I do want to give a shout-out to the folks who joined us all show long live on Twitch at twitch.tv/don'tpanicshow. We do it Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. We had a great audience. We had Skep Talk Live, eBurger80, and our good friend Zach Frisk joined us as well. So thanks to all of you guys. I know we don't always get to all the comments in the chat, but we do read them, so I guess that counts still. But pleasure having you here. Now, I do want to do a little cross-promotion because I think our various shows are really, like, peaking at the same time, which is rare. Like, usually one will be really good and then the other will be... No, we're, like, all crashing together because we're really gelling here. Game Nights is... you're muted, Dan. We can't hear you.
Don't use the word crashing. It's a negative connotation.
We're
peaking.
We're at the apex of our success. And you should join us. On Game Nights, we've got a great adventure going. The Warden, things are really heating up. We just recorded yesterday. We had quite a hoot. New episodes published all the time now, because now we're on a good regular schedule, so we'll have new episodes this week and moving forward. You can catch up with the adventure. We're not that far in, so check it out, GameNights.tv. I also want to promote this Wednesday, episode number 100 of Up for Debate. Can you believe it? 100 episodes come and gone. We're going to do a look back at our favorite episodes, our least favorite episodes, and where we're going to take the show next. It is a meta episode, a retrospective, Up for Debate, a look back.
Up for Debate, up for debate.
Yes, exactly. Yes, we finally debate ourselves. And remember,
wait, on episode 200, can you do a show that's only about that episode?
About episode 100, yeah. That's a really good idea. Yeah, it's a great, because like most shows, we don't have to do any prep for it. So I look forward to that, and you get that at upfordebate.tv. That'll be published. We tape that Wednesday, so that'll be later this week. That's going to do it for this show, though. So we'll be back next week with more tech news. We'll have the second half of CES. And, things are really heating up post-Christmas, so I trust we'll have some good news coming for you then. But we're going to end it tonight. So on behalf of Colby and Dan, this is Sean, thanking all of you for joining us. Hoping we'll see you next time for more tech news and good times here on Don't Panic.